Have you been going around the internet looking for the Ultimate Baseball podcast? Well, you've just found it. On the Dugout Report, we'll cover not only the latest news from across Major League Baseball, but we'll also analyze and break down the hottest games, players, stats, and takes from every aspect of the game, including from on the field, in the dugout and clubhouse, from the front office, and so much more. As longtime White Sox broadcaster Ken the Hawk Harrelson would say, sit back, relax, and strap it down. This is the Dugout Report podcast with Andrew Caruso. Hello everyone, and a very happy Sunday to you, wherever you may be. I am your host, Andrew Caruso. This is episode 5 of the Dugout Report on this Sunday, January 16th, 2022. This is our first show of the new year. On this episode, we'll cover a couple of new MLB managerial hires, including Buck Showalter being hired by the New York Mets and Mark Kotsay being hired by Oakland to manage the A's. We'll also cover the news surrounding Ken Rosenthal and his surprise firing from MLB Network. Next, we'll cover the news about two major retirements, which are the retirements of Kyle Seager and Cameron Maybin. Lastly, to cap it all off, as has been the case for the past few weeks, we'll do another free agent profile, as voted on by you, the fans. Stay tuned till the end to see who our spotlighted player for the week is. First off, I want to say I'm sorry I couldn't get this episode out last week like I said I would, in the last episode before the holidays. I know some of you were looking forward to the show's return last week, and so was I, but I got tied up with other more important commitments, so I didn't have time to work on the script and complete it in time for last week. But I'm happy to be back after almost a month, and I promise a more consistent schedule going forward. As always, stay tuned to social media for the latest updates and episode information. Before we jump into the latest baseball headlines, I hope everyone had a great holiday and is having a great start to the new year. I know the holidays are it's almost been a month since the holidays, but I hope everyone had a great holiday. I had a great Christmas, and I got a lot of baseball-related gifts, including an autographed baseball signed by a bunch of former Yankee players, including Don Larson, who drew the only World Series perfect game in 1956. I also got tickets to see the Orioles and Nationals at each of their home stadiums in Baltimore and Washington. I hope the lockout ends soon so I can redeem that gift over the summer, and I cannot wait to tell you all about my baseball adventures this coming season, if the season does start on time. Rob, end the lockout ASAP, so we can all get back to the ballpark. I also celebrated my 16th birthday 2 weeks ago, and fun fact, I shared my birthday with 3 notable MLB players. Hall of Famer Edgar Martinez, longtime Yankee pitcher and current broadcaster David Cone, and current Padres shortstop El Nino Fernando Tatis Jr. Anyways, I have incredibly high hopes for this coming year, and I have a feeling that this is the year that I'll make it big, especially if you all keep up your incredible support of the show. And if you know anyone who loves the great game of baseball, I would appreciate if you could share my show with them. Also, keep up the incredible social media support. Thank you. Speaking of social media, if you missed the last episode from a few weeks ago, you can listen to that episode and previous editions of the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud and YouTube. Also, I want to remind you that while you're at it, that you can follow this show on Twitter at Dugout Rep Pod. That's Dugout REP Pod. While you're at it, follow my personal Twitter feed and my newly created Instagram page at Andrew Caruso 77. Postings on Instagram will be infrequent, so Twitter will remain the primary place to follow and connect with me and the show. But for those of you that don't have Twitter but have Instagram, you find out a way to connect with me. However, Twitter will continue to being the only way to follow the show on socials, and if enough of you show support, I'll consider creating Instagram for the show. But that's pretty far down the line since I only signed up for Instagram a couple of days ago. That's enough social media talk for one day, so we got a lot to cover. So we can't waste any more time. And with that being said, let's head in the dugout to talk baseball. Our top story this week is covering a pair of managerial hires that occurred over the last few weeks. Both of these hires took place after the show went off the air for the holidays. The most notable of these moves was Buck Showalter being hired to manage the Mets. His hiring was announced by Mets owner Steve Cohen on Twitter on December 19th, and he was introduced by the team on the 21st. Showalter returned to the dugout in Queens after a 3-year absence. He was fired by Baltimore after the 2018 campaign along with general manager Dan Duquette in a season where the Orioles went 54 and 108 records, setting the O's franchise record for most losses of the season. Aside from his time in Baltimore, he has also managed the Yankees, Rangers, and Diamondbacks. And he is a three-time winner of the Manager of the Year award, winning most recently in 2014. In 2012, he led the O's to their first playoff appearance since 1997, but they were defeated by the Yankees in the ALDS and won the AL East division. And he won the AL East division title with them in 2014, but they were swept by the eventual AL champion Royals in the ALCS. During his absence from the dugout, he served as a TV analyst for various networks such as MLB Network and the Yes Network. I like this move for the Mets because it gives them an experienced dugout man, since the last two managers had no MLB managerial experience. Mickey Callaway got involved in off-the-field issues, which I don't want to elaborate on here, but however, those issues surfaced after he was fired by the team, and he's been banned from baseball through at least through the 2022 season. Luis Rojas was just an interim manager after Carlos Beltran was sacked for his ties to the Astros cheating scandal, and Rojas had to navigate through great challenges during his tenure. All in all, since Terry Collins retired at the end of 2017, the managerial position has been in shambles. The Mets are going to be a team to watch this coming season, if we have one, due in part to the number of big ticket signings they've made so far, including Max Scherzer and Starling Marte, Eduardo Escobar, and others. Adding someone with years of experience to manage the team is part of a recipe for success. Let me know what you think. I've seen a lot of reaction from Mets fans online, and most of them are very, very happy about Buck's hire. The second managerial hire that we're going to cover is Mark Kotsay being hired to manage the Oakland A's. He was hired by the team on December 21st to fill the vacancy left by Bob Melvin after he departed to manage the San Diego Padres. He isn't new to Oakland, as he has spent the last 6 years in various coaching positions on Melvin's staff, most recently as third base coach during the 2021 season. Prior to coaching, Kotsay played in the MLB for 16 years, from 1997 to 2013 as an outfielder, which included 2 stints in San Diego and 4 years with Oakland. He won the Golden Spikes Award in 1995. I think this is a good hire as well, due to the amount of experience that Mark Kotsay has with Oakland, but as always with folks who have no managerial experience, the future is unknown, since there is no guessing into figuring out how he'll perform as a skipper and what kind of record he'll generate this year. Kotsay has said he wants to continue building on his predecessor's winning atmosphere, so we shall see if Oakland produces the winning record in 2022, taking into account that a number of their stars have been in trade rumors recently, like Matt Chapman and Matt Olson and Sean Manaea, a couple others. Let me know what you folks think, and don't go away, because more news is coming up. Our next major story surrounds the top reporter in baseball, as on January 3rd, the New York Post reported that Ken Rosenthal was suddenly fired by MLB Network over his past criticism of Commissioner Rob Manfred and Manfred's handling of the 2020 season, which we all know was impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. In columns written for The Athletic, I actually started a petition on Change.org to try to get MLB Network to reverse their decision. If you're interested in signing it, the link is in the pinned tweet in my Twitter page, in a retweet on the show's page, and in the description of this episode. Thank you for your time and support. Anyways, as I wrote in the petition description. At the time the column surfaced, Rosenthal was suspended and kept off air with pay for 3 months, and since his suspension was lifted, he has been a regular fixture on the network and its various programming, appearing most recently as just a few weeks ago, according to the article published by the Post. As for my thoughts on this move, which were written in the petition, this is an absolutely horrible, horrible move by MLB Network, as Ken Rosenthal is one of the best and most reliable baseball reporters out there. Even though he has been fired by the network, he will continue working for Fox and The Athletic. Over the last year, MLB Network has let go several of their on-air personalities, including Eric Burns and Chris Rose. They added one more to that list with Ken's firing. Let me know what you guys think about this horrible move and hashtag #FreeKen. There's still more news and analysis on the way, so stay tuned for more. Our last major story we're going to cover this week surrounds a pair of retirements as longtime MLB veterans Kyle Seager and Cameron Maybin announced their retirement from baseball. Seager announced his on December 29th in a statement posted to his wife's Twitter page, while Maybin announced his in an open letter posted to his Twitter on January 3rd. In 11 seasons, all spent as a third baseman for the Seattle Mariners, Kyle Seager hit .282 with 1,395 career hits, 242 home runs, and 807 runs batted in. He also had a career 321 on-base percentage and a 763 OPS. In 2014, he was named an AL All-Star and he won the AL Gold Glove Award at third base. In 2021, he set career highs in homers with 35 and RBIs with 101. He also set a career low in batting average with the .212 average. The M's declined his option after the season, and to be honest, I couldn't see him going anywhere else for 2022, so it made sense for him to retire. So, all the best to him. We at least still have his brother Corey in the major leagues. He signed with the Rangers on a massive, massive deal before the lockout. So if you want to hear my thoughts on the Corey Seager deal, you can go to my to the episode. I think it was like episode maybe 2 or 3. I discussed all the pre-lockout moves. So, anyways, meanwhile, Cameron Maybin has spent 14 years in the bigs as a journeyman outfielder that included 3 stints with the Tigers and a 3-year stint with the Marlins, and another stint with them in 2018. He also spent 4 years with the Padres, and in 2021, he played briefly for the Mets before being DFA'd and outrighted to AAA. He was declared a free agent after the season and retired on January 3rd, like I said above. He finishes his career after playing 10 different teams with a .254 average, 72 career homers, 354 career RBIs, 187 stolen bases, and a World Series ring. Again, best of luck to him as well. That concludes the retirements for this week, and now it's time for another free agent profile. Stay tuned to find out who this week's player is. Don't go away. To cap off the episode, as we've done for the past few weeks, is another free agent profile. In the poll conducted on Twitter a few weeks ago, Michael Conforto won the poll as he had the most votes out of the 4 possible players for this week's edition of the segment. So he's going to be our spotlighted free agent. Make sure you follow the show on social so you don't miss any future polls or the chance to vote on the next free agent profile from next week. With that being said, let's dive into Conforto's profile. Conforto is an outfielder who has the last 6 years, all with the New York Mets. He was drafted by the Mets in the first round of the 2014 draft, and he made his MLB debut in 2015. Before playing pro ball, he represented the United States Northwest region in the 2004 Little League World Series. He played baseball in high school as a shortstop for Redmond High School in Redmond, Washington, which is a small town outside of Seattle. In college, he played for Oregon State University, where he was named Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, and over the summer between freshman and sophomore year, he played for the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team. As a sophomore in 2013, he led Oregon to the College World Series, and he was named to the All-American Tournament, and again won Pac-12 Player of the Year honors. In 2014, before being drafted, Conforto was named the preseason College Baseball Player of the Year by the Sporting News magazine. He was also a finalist for both the Golden Spikes Award and Dick Howser Trophy before being drafted by New York. Last year in 125 games for the Mets, Conforto had a .232 average in 406 at-bats with 94 hits, 14 home runs, and 55 RBIs. He also had an on-base percentage of .344 and an OPS of .728 and a .344 slugging percentage. During his major career, Conforto has been an All-Star in 2017, and he was named to the All-MLB second team in 2020. According to the latest rumors from Fansided, Conforto has been linked to the Marlins, and those links started well before the lockout. But he has also been rumored to sign with the Phillies, or even one of the other teams in the NL East, such as the Nationals and Braves. If he does sign with any of those teams, Conforto could end up playing his former team multiple times next year, as the Mets are also in the NL East division. The Marlins signed another outfielder in Avisail Garcia earlier in the offseason, and both he and Conforto are natural right fielders. If the Fish were to sign Conforto, General Manager Kim Ng said that Garcia should remain in right field, meaning that Conforto would have to move to center or left, even though he has little experience playing center field in the majors. It should also be noted that Miami has been linked to other top outfielders on the market, such as like Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber. It'll be interesting to see where he does end up signing once the lockout is over, and I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts. You can get involved in the conversation as always on social media, such as Twitter and Instagram. With that being said, that concludes another edition of Free Agent Profiles. Stay tuned to social media for the poll in order to vote on next week's player. We've also reached the end of the episode, which means closing remarks are coming right up. Don't go away. So, that concludes the end of episode 5 of the Dugout Report. Thanks again for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Once again, as a reminder, you can follow the show on Twitter at DugoutRepPod, and my personal Twitter and Instagram page is at Andrew Caruso77. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. Please share this episode with your friends and on social media. That's it for this week, and so this is your host, Andrew Caruso, signing off. I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening, and so long, everyone.